In this video, I'd like to give you a quick update on the real-world testing project. Hang on, that's a different house. Hi there, I'm Gary and welcome back to my channel, Gary Does Solar. There are quite a few videos out there that compare the performance of different solar technologies, things like microinverters compared to string inverters or bifacial panels against standard panels. It's great to see such videos being made, but generally the testing being carried out is not typically done in a very scientific way. And the problem with that is that it's then easy for people to dispute the results. I want to carry out my own real-world testing of these two technology comparisons, but I want it to be done in as objective way as possible so that people can make informed buying decisions. This video is actually an update to a previous video I made here, which if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you watch before continuing with this one so that you're up to speed with what's happened so far. The link is in the description. Alright then, let me talk about where things are at now with this real-world testing project. Well, the first update is that the property that we were going to be using for the testing has changed. Unfortunately, that property pictured here is now in the process of being sold by the owner, and because of that it's no longer available to me for testing purposes. I mean, yeah, I might have been able to persuade the new owner to allow me to use their roof space in return for essentially a free solar system, but I just felt it was too involved. So what to do? Well, you may remember from my previous video that Spirit Energy was more than happy to support the testing project, so I reached out to Talk to explain the situation and to see what could be done about securing a replacement property for the testing. As luck would have it, Talk had such a property available, one that was still being built in fact and was already due to have solar and battery fitted by Spirit Energy. And after discussing with the owner, they were kind enough to allow use of one of the roof sections highlighted here for the testing project. And it's a big roof, facing due east with plenty of room for all the panels required for both of the tests that we want to do. Now if we look back at how the panels were going to be arranged on the original property with two roof sections, it was like this. The west roof would be used to test microinverters versus string inverter. Two sections, each with 6 panels. All the panels in the upper section, coloured blue, would be connected to microinverters. And all the panels in the lower section, coloured orange, would be connected to a string inverter. And then the east roof would be used to test bifacial versus monofacial panels. Again, two sections, each with 6 panels. The yellow section comprising monofacial panels, and the green section comprising bifacial panels. The question is then, how do we translate this onto a single roof? I mean, yes, we could simply retain all 4 sections on one roof like this. But actually we don't need to do that. Because everything is now on one roof, the orange and yellow sections are exactly the same, so we can remove one of them. The reason we needed 4 sections on the previous property was because the two roof sections had completely different orientations. But now we have a single roof and therefore a single orientation. It simplifies everything. Great. We can remove the yellow section then. And because there is more space on the new roof, we can beef up the number of panels in each section slightly. Spirit Energy determined we could have 8 panels in each of the 3 sections, arranged like so. So this will be the test layout we'll be going with for the project, and a big thank you to everyone who commented in the last video with all sorts of ideas on how to arrange things. In the end, I figured that whatever we would do on the project, the KISS principle should be employed. Now if you're not familiar with that, it stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. And in a complex world, it's a pretty good principle to abide by. So for our testing project, we'll scope everything down to only the 2 tests originally envisaged. And if we look at the panel sections again, you can see that there's only one variable changing between each section. From blue to orange, we change only from microinverters to a string inverter, and from orange to green, we change only from monofacial to bifacial panels. So if there are any differences in solar production between these sections, we'll know the single factor that is causing that. So nice and simple then, and all in all I think we're in a better position now than we were with the previous property. And I should say at this point, for those who suggested additional real-world testing that could be carried out, I'm thinking that if this project is a success, and I hope it will be, then I'll be more than happy to run additional testing projects over time. Now as you might imagine, running a test project like this is not cheap, so I'm very grateful to Spirit Energy who have invested a lot of time, effort and money into the project. Spirit Energy is one of the companies in my solar installer directory, which lists only the very best installers in the UK, ones that I've personally vetted and would trust with my own money, If you'd like a quote from Spirit Energy and help my channel at the same time, just click on the link or scan the QR code that you see here. I'm also very pleased to announce that LONGi, one of the largest and most respected manufacturers of solar panels worldwide, has agreed to supply all of the solar panels required for the project free of charge, including both monofacial and bifacial versions. Many of you will also recognise this brand, Fronius. They have over 80 years experience with power electronics and they're well respected across the world. I'm very happy to tell you that Fronius has also agreed to support the project, and they will be supplying both string inverter equipment and support free of charge. And finally, you'll know from my previous videos that I really like Enphase. Enphase is the world's leading manufacturer of microinverters and a true pioneer in module level power electronics. Given that one of the roof sections requires the use of microinverters, Enphase were more than happy to support the project. They're supplying all of the microinverters required free of charge and direct access to their technical experts whenever we need it. A big thank you from me then to all of these companies. I really appreciate your support, and I'm sure my viewers will be looking forward to seeing all of your products in action in a real-world scenario. Now, it's standard practice for Spirit Energy to carry out a detailed on-site technical survey before any installation, and this project was no different. So let's head down to the test site, which is near Reading in the UK, to have a chat with some of the people involved. First up is Talk himself. Well, hi Talk. So thanks for inviting me out here. So this is the actual property in question then. So how has all this come about?
Well, obviously we wanted to work with you on this test to answer these two really important questions.
Yeah.
And ultimately to nail that down, we need a nice big open roof that's the same orientation, the same pitch. And this is a brilliant opportunity. So we're going to be able to fit 3 separate arrays of 8 panels quite comfortably and hopefully perform a really fair test. Yeah,
it's a really large roof, isn't it? It's just ideal. So I guess, Talk, one of the big questions for me then, in order to make this testing as objective and as scientific as it can be, we need to kind of monitor the data in an accurate way. So what's Spirit Energy doing in terms of that then?
Well, the first thing I should say is the Enphase and the Fronius are the 2 highest quality inverters that you can get. So first of all, I do want to say I'm really confident in the monitoring they're going to provide. But obviously we want to be a fair test and independently verify the results. So for the Fronius, the bifacial test versus non-bifacial, we're going to put a DC current meter on both of the strings. So actually, before the electricity even gets into the Fronius, we'll have a reading on what those panels are generating. So we can fairly compare the bifacial and the monofacial panels.
That's fantastic.
Then with the Enphase versus string inverter, it all comes down to what is actually coming out of the end of the inverter, what's actually being fed into the house. So we're going to have 2 independent AC current meters coming out of the Enphase and coming out of the Fronius, so that again we can verify the results independently.
Brilliant. I don't think it gets any better than that actually. So,
no, you and I put a lot of thought into how we make this a fair test, and I'm confident in it.
Fantastic. And in terms of getting the work done, obviously we're here today, we're doing the survey with Justin. When is the install planned?
So because it's a new build, it doesn't quite line up perfectly. So essentially we're doing the roof works first because the roof's complete. So that's going to be in a couple of weeks' time, and we've put that in. And then regarding the electrics, that's going to come in about 2 or 3 months. What this house is actually having is a 3-phase supply, but currently it's got a single phase over there. So I think we're waiting for the DNO to pull in a 3-phase supply. Once that's in and the plant room is fully built out, then we'll come in and we'll fit the Fronius, we'll fit the Enphase, we'll fit the independent meters, and from then we'll start generating and getting some results.
Brilliant. Thanks, Talk. I then spoke to Justin, who manages all of Spirit Energy's installations. So, hi Justin, it's great to meet you.
Hi Gary.
So Justin, maybe you could just say a little bit about what your role is within Spirit Energy and what you're planning to do today.
Okay, so my role at Spirit Energy is head of installations. So it'll be my team that ultimately install this. So I'll come out, I'll do a survey, technical survey, which is basically measuring the roof, checking the roof, checking where equipment's going, cable runs, how we're going to achieve a neat cable run. New build site, it's always great because we can ask site to give us a hand with that, so they've already pre-run some cables on this one.
Oh, great.
So yeah, that's my role really, just to make sure that basically what's been sold actually works.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess this little project that we're doing is a little bit different to a normal installation. Is that giving you any concerns at all?
No.
Oh, great.
in a nutshell, no concerns.
Right. There's some extra metering that we're doing.
We've got
things
some
like
metering to do, some
yeah.
DC metering on obviously the Fronius. We've got metering to do on the M-phase system for the comparison. So no, we've got a team looking into that. I don't have any concerns at all, Gary, to be honest with you. I think it's a great idea. Yeah. And it'll be lovely to see the results.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, I hope the survey goes well, and it's great meeting you.
Thank you, you too.
Great. And finally, it was great to speak to Jürgen from Enphase, who happened to be on site that day as well. So Jürgen, thanks very much for popping by.
Pleasure to meet you.
Jürgen is from Enphase, and Enphase, thank you very much for contributing the microinverters to this project.
Indeed.
And for talking about this is a really important project. We want to see the comparison between an Enphase microinverter system and a string inverter system, and we're trying to do it in the most scientific way that we can.
Sure.
It won't be perfect, but it hopefully will be good enough so that people can make buying decisions against that. Maybe I can ask you, Jürgen, obviously we'll be looking around the site today. Are there any particular things that you'll be looking out for in terms of the design of the testing and things like that?
No, I'm mainly here just to help you guys kind of get a feel for the installation itself.
Yeah.
And I've been made available by Enphase for you guys to get it installed in such a way that you get the most out of it from testing purposes. That's really what I'm here to do.
Fantastic. Well, we really appreciate you being involved in the project, and I hope it's got some good results. And personally, I can't wait to see how the Enphase system perform, not least because I hear anecdotally that you can actually get a certain percentage increase in generation at various times of the day over a string inverter, so it'll be good to test that out.
I'm hoping to see those things like earlier startup, later shutdown, things like that is what we're hoping to see, right? So
fantastic.
It'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, can't wait. All right, thanks very much then, Jürgen.
Thank you.
Spirit Energy was also recording on the day, and their own video on the project, including further details around the installation, will be out shortly. I'll put a link to their channel in the description. I have to say I'm very excited to see everything coming together like it has. The technical survey went well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the installation, which is targeted for early next month. Then once the system has been commissioned and it's up and running, we should hopefully have some early data to show you within a few weeks' time, and then again over the 12-month lifetime of the project. Time then to let me know in the comments whether you think microinverters will outperform a string inverter, or how much extra generation, if any, bifacial panels will have over standard monofacial ones. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this sort of content, and thank you to all my Patreon supporters who have made this testing possible. All the best.